Let me ask you something deeply personal yet profoundly important, something that might just shift your entire perspective on intimacy and aging. What if I revealed that the majority of men crossing the threshold of 60 are unwittingly committing a seemingly minor, almost invisible error in the moments preceding sexual intimacy? This isn't about forgetfulness or clumsiness. It's a subtle, ingrained habit silently sabotaging the very foundation of their erection quality. The ability not just to get hard, but to sustain that hardness with unwavering confidence. Crucially, this pervasive issue isn't fundamentally linked to the inevitable march of time, a gradual decline in testosterone levels, or even an underlying medical condition demanding complex intervention. It's something far more insidious precisely because it flies under the radar, something infinitely more fixable precisely because it operates outside the usual diagnostic boxes. This oversight isn't a death sentence for your sex life. It's a correctable glitch in the system, a misstep in preparation that, once addressed, can unlock reservoirs of vitality you might have assumed were forever depleted. The frustration, the anxiety, the silent resignation, they stem from a source most men never consider, a gap between intention and physiological response that can be bridged with understanding and simple, targeted actions. You see, my journey into understanding this core issue spans over 3 decades immersed in the intricate world of men's health. I am Dr. Clara Moheit, a specialist dedicated entirely to the urological and sexual well-being of men navigating their later years. My practice isn't built on quick fixes or pharmaceutical promises. It's founded on the profound belief that the male body, even as it ages, possesses remarkable capacities for restoration when given the right kind of support. For 30 years, I've walked alongside thousands of men just like you, perhaps, who arrived at my door burdened by the heavy conviction that their vibrant, confident sexual selves were relics of the past, lost forever to the sands of time. They spoke of embarrassment, of failed attempts with pills that offered fleeting results and unpleasant side effects, of invasive procedures they desperately wanted to avoid, and of a growing chasm in their relationships fueled by silent suffering. The transformation I've witnessed, time and again, wasn't sparked by miracles, but by unveiling a fundamental truth, a missing piece of the puzzle they were unaware even existed. These men discovered, often with tearful relief, that their best days weren't necessarily behind them, they were waiting to be reclaimed. What I'm about to share with you isn't theoretical musing. It's the distilled essence of clinical experience, the key that has unlocked renewed vitality for countless individuals who had resigned themselves to a diminished existence. Their stories are the bedrock of my conviction that change is not only possible but achievable naturally, without dependence on external chemicals, surgical interventions, or the crushing weight of shame. Because here's the unvarnished truth, stripped bare of misconceptions and societal myths. The primary obstacle preventing you from achieving consistently rock-hard, dependable erections isn't a lack of desire burning within you. Desire, that deep-seated yearning for connection and pleasure, often remains fiercely intact, a flame that refuses to be extinguished. The real crux of the matter, the critical failure point, lies almost entirely in the realm of preparation. Think of it like this. Most men, especially as the years accumulate, attempt to leap directly into the act of sex itself, bypassing the essential, preliminary activation of the very biological systems that orchestrate the entire symphony of arousal and erection. They neglect to prime the pump, to awaken the intricate network responsible for robust blood flow, heightened nerve sensitivity, and the profound physical and mental readiness required for peak performance. It's analogous to expecting a powerful sports car to accelerate instantly to top speed on a cold morning without ever turning the ignition key, letting the engine warm, or allowing the oil to circulate. The potential is there, but the necessary preparatory steps were skipped, guaranteeing a sputtering, disappointing outcome. The body, magnificent as it is, needs that warm-up phase, that intentional shift from neutral into gear, to perform optimally. Skipping this crucial prelude is the silent, widespread mistake undermining performance for countless men over 60. But the profound good news is this. This preparation isn't mysterious, arduous, or time-consuming. Within the next few minutes, I will meticulously guide you through 3 remarkably straightforward, scientifically grounded techniques. These are not abstract concepts but practical, actionable steps you can integrate seamlessly into your routine, applied literally minutes before intimacy begins. their purpose. To naturally and powerfully trigger the physiological cascade leading to firm, lasting erections. Erections that many of my patients describe as feeling stronger and more resilient than those they experienced decades ago. This isn't about recapturing lost youth in some impossible way. It's about optimizing the incredible potential your body still holds right now, today. The techniques work by leveraging your body's innate capacities, reminding it of processes that may have become sluggish or forgotten, essentially reminding your system how to perform at its best given its current state. Furthermore, stay closely tuned because, woven into this explanation, I will unveil a particularly potent and little-known strategy involving a specific tapping point. This precise activation method has proven transformative for hundreds of my older patients. Men who felt disconnected, diminished, or simply going through the motions reported a profound resurgence, a feeling of being more vibrantly alive, radiating newfound confidence, and experiencing a deeper, more authentic connection with their partners than they had felt in 20 or 30 years. It's a subtle intervention with potentially dramatic effects, acting like a master switch reconnecting vital circuits. Now, before we delve into the practical, life-changing techniques themselves, it's absolutely imperative that we address a foundational concept, a hidden dynamic that remains tragically undiscussed in most medical consultations and casual conversations alike. This unspoken factor is, I firmly believe, the silent, pervasive culprit underlying the bedroom struggles experienced by so many otherwise healthy men navigating their 60s, 70s, and beyond. Ignoring this core issue renders any method, exercise routine, or supplement regimen fundamentally incomplete and often ultimately ineffective. It's a subtle physiological and neurological shift I've termed stimulation blindness. If you are a man over 60 reading this, the unsettling reality is that you may already be experiencing its effects, perhaps without even consciously recognizing it, mistaking its symptoms for the inevitable decline of age or a personal failing. This lack of recognition perpetuates the cycle of frustration. Let me illuminate this critical concept. Stimulation blindness isn't about a physical inability to see. It's a metaphorical term describing a gradual, often imperceptible, diminishment in your body's responsiveness to the familiar triggers of arousal that once worked reliably. It manifests as a quiet fading of sensation and reaction. The tender touch of your partner, which once sent electric shivers down your spine, might now register as pleasant but fails to ignite that deep, visceral spark. Fantasies or visual stimuli that previously fueled intense excitement might now feel distant, like watching a compelling movie rather than being immersed in it. Even the profound emotional closeness and love you feel for your partner, while deeply meaningful, might no longer reliably translate into the powerful physical ignition it once did. You are mentally present, emotionally engaged, but there's a perplexing, frustrating disconnect. Your body simply isn't translating that mental and emotional state into the expected physiological response with the same intensity or reliability. This disconnect isn't just inconvenient. It initiates a profoundly painful and self-perpetuating cycle. Men instinctively try to push through it, forcing themselves into situations where they anticipate failure, often leading to mounting performance anxiety. Self-blame becomes a constant companion. Internal narratives whisper about diminishing masculinity, personal inadequacy, or irreversible decay. To avoid the anticipated disappointment or embarrassment, intimacy might be subtly or overtly avoided, creating distance in the relationship. Alternatively, many men adopt a stance of stoic denial, pretending everything is fine while internally wrestling with a growing fear that something fundamental within them is broken. This internal struggle is exhausting and deeply corrosive to self-esteem. What I need you to understand, truly absorb into your core, is this is categorically not your fault. It is not a moral failing, a sign of weakness, or evidence that your desire has waned. Stimulation blindness is a complex phenomenon rooted in predictable, well-documented physiological changes accompanying the aging process, changes that naturally impact the intricate machinery of sexual response. As we age, the network of blood vessels supplying the pelvic region, crucial for delivering the surge of blood that creates an erection, often becomes less flexible. Plaque can build up, atherosclerosis, reducing blood flow efficiency. The sheer volume of blood that can flow into the penile chambers, corpora cavernosa, might decrease. Simultaneously, nerve endings throughout the body, including the highly sensitive genital region, can become less responsive over time. The conduction speed of nerve signals may slow, and the intensity of sensation registered can diminish. Hormonally, while testosterone decline is often highlighted, equally important are shifts in other hormones like prolactin, thyroid hormones, and even cortisol, the stress hormone, all of which can subtly alter how the brain processes arousal signals and orchestrates the sexual response cascade. Crucially, and this is the key behavioral component intertwined with these physiological shifts, many men unconsciously skip or drastically shorten the critical preparatory phase, the warm-up, the sensual engagement, the focused attention that primes both mind and body for intimacy. They attempt to transition directly from a state of neutral everyday awareness to the peak arousal required for robust sexual function, bypassing the essential ramp-up period. It's precisely like expecting that cold sports car engine to roar to life at maximum RPM the instant you turn the key, without allowing it to idle and warm up first. The system simply isn't prepared for that instantaneous demand. In my clinic, this narrative echoes constantly. Men look me in the eye, their expressions a mixture of hope and deep-seated worry, and say variations of, "Doctor, the desire is absolutely still there. I still feel like a man inside. I crave that closeness, that pleasure. But when the moment arrives, when it's time for my body to respond, nothing happens. Or it starts but fades too quickly. It's like my body won't listen to what my mind and heart are telling it." Hearing this raw honesty fuels my commitment. My response is always direct, empathetic, and grounded in physiology. That disconnect, that lack of response, is not failure. It's not a verdict on your masculinity. It is, quite simply, your body communicating its needs differently than it did decades ago. It's asking you, pleading with you, for a different approach, a different kind of engagement before the main event. Because here lies the powerful beacon of hope, the cornerstone of everything I teach. Stimulation blindness is not a permanent sentence. It is not an irreversible decline. Your body still possesses the inherent, biological capacity for powerful sexual response. The neural pathways, the vascular potential, the muscular mechanisms, they are still there. They haven't vanished. They've often just become less accessible, less easily triggered by the old methods. They've become habituated or obscured by the physiological changes mentioned. The key to reversing this lies not in fighting your body, but in learning how to prepare it effectively, how to consciously and deliberately activate the systems governing arousal and erection before sexual activity begins in earnest. This preparation acts like a defibrillator for your sexual response system, jump-starting processes that have grown sluggish. It's about learning the new language your body speaks and responding accordingly. This foundational understanding of stimulation blindness sets the stage for the first technique, designed explicitly to counteract it. This technique is simple, requires only your hands and focused attention, and has yielded transformative results for men who felt they had exhausted all options. Many describe it as the missing link that finally allowed their bodies to respond as they desired. It typically takes just 3 to 5 mindful minutes. Let me detail precisely how it works, step by step, drawing on both physiology and clinical experience. This is Technique 1, the Pelvic Activation Massage. The name might sound clinical, but its purpose is deeply practical, awakening dormant sensation and blood flow. It's not primarily about inducing pleasure in the moment, though that can be a welcome side effect. Its core objective is preparatory, laying the physiological groundwork for a successful sexual encounter by targeting areas crucial for erection but often neglected in the rush towards intercourse. As we age, blood flow to the pelvic region naturally diminishes. Muscles in the lower abdomen, groin, and pelvic floor can become chronically tense or underused, a state sometimes called pelvic floor hypertonicity or weakness, and nerve sensitivity in the genital and perineal area can decrease significantly. This massage directly addresses these 3 pillars: circulation, muscle tone, and nerve awakening. The focus areas are specific: the inner thighs, rich in arteries feeding the genitals, the lower abdomen just above the pubic bone, housing muscles and pathways influencing pelvic blood flow, and critically, the perineum, that diamond-shaped area between the base of the scrotum and the anus. The perineum is particularly vital. It's not just skin and muscle, it's a dense hub, often referred to anatomically as the perineal body or central tendon, interlaced with a complex network of blood vessels, nerves, including branches of the pudendal nerve, essential for genital sensation and erection, and anchoring points for pelvic floor muscles. Stimulating this area sends powerful signals through both the somatic, voluntary, and autonomic, involuntary, nervous systems, influencing blood vessel dilation in the penis and promoting the muscular relaxation necessary for blood inflow. When neglected, this region can become tight, numb, or simply overlooked. The practice itself is straightforward but requires mindfulness. Find a few minutes of quiet privacy, ideally shortly before anticipated intimacy. Sit or lie comfortably. Using your fingertips or palms, you might use a natural oil like coconut or almond for ease, but it's optional. Begin gently massaging the inner thighs. Use slow, firm, but not painful, circular motions. Move systematically down each thigh, paying attention to any areas that feel particularly tight or tender. These often indicate restricted blood flow or muscle tension. Gradually move your attention to the lower abdomen. Using flat palms or fingers, massage in clockwise circles just below your navel, applying gentle pressure. Visualize warmth spreading through this area, relaxing muscles and encouraging blood flow downwards. Finally, focus on the perineum. Using one or two fingers, apply slow, deliberate circular pressure or gentle stroking motions directly on this area. The pressure should be firm enough to feel definite contact and stimulation, but never sharp or painful. Crucially, synchronize your breath with the massage. Inhale deeply and slowly through your nose, imagining breath and energy flowing down into your pelvis. Exhale slowly and completely through your mouth, consciously releasing any tension you detect in the muscles you're touching. This isn't a race, it's a process of reconnection. Pay close attention to the subtle sensations arising: warmth, tingling, a sense of increased awareness or slight pulsation in the genital area. You're not trying to force an erection, you're gently reminding your nervous system and vascular system of their role, awakening pathways that may have been underutilized. You are essentially performing a systems check and preheat for the complex machinery involved in arousal. The impact of this seemingly simple practice can be profound, as illustrated by a patient I'll never forget. Robert was 67, a devoted husband of 42 years, who walked into my office radiating quiet despair. Embarrassment hung heavy on him, mixed with a deep sense of defeat. He confessed he was on the verge of abandoning his sex life entirely, believing it was lost to him forever. "Doc," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "I love my wife more than ever. The desire to be close, to share that intimacy, it's still strong. But my body, it's like a traitor. It just doesn't cooperate anymore. I feel like I'm letting her down, letting myself down." He recounted a familiar litany, trials with various ED pills yielding inconsistent results and unpleasant side effects, expensive supplements that promised much but delivered little, and even intimidating devices he found uncomfortable and unnatural. Nothing provided a lasting solution, nothing addressed the core disconnect he felt. Recognizing the classic signs of stimulation blindness compounded by performance anxiety, I introduced him to the Pelvic Activation Massage, framing it not as a cure-all, but as a fundamental shift in approach, a way to communicate differently with his body. Skeptical but desperate, he agreed to try. 3 weeks later, Robert returned. The transformation was startling. The defeated posture was gone, replaced by an upright stance. His eyes held a spark I hadn't seen before. "It worked, Doc," he stated, a genuine smile breaking through. "Not perfectly every single time, but consistently enough. Last week, I haven't felt that strong, that reliably hard, in years. And my wife." He paused, emotion catching in his throat. She noticed. She said I seemed different, more confident, more present with her, even before anything started. It's changed the whole feeling between us. Robert's experience underscores the true power of this technique. It transcends mere mechanics. It's about re-establishing a dialogue with your body, showing it respectful attention, and setting the stage so your inherent physiology can function optimally. The results, as Robert and countless others attest, can indeed feel like a small miracle, restoring not just function but confidence and connection. However, while the pelvic activation massage powerfully addresses the physical groundwork, achieving truly reliable and potent erections requires integrating this physical awakening with conscious control over your internal state, particularly your nervous system. This is where harnessing something as fundamental, yet often overlooked, as your breath becomes paramount. This integration forms the core of the second technique, which synergistically builds upon the first. This brings us to Technique 2, the breathing and grip sync method. There's a critical, often unrecognized connection that escapes most men until frustration sets in: the profound link between your breath, your state of mind, and the quality of your erection. They are inextricably intertwined through the autonomic nervous system. Over my decades of practice, I've sat across from innumerable men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, radiating frustration, anxiety, and profound confusion. They recount the same bewildering story, mentally willing an erection, physically attempting stimulation, yet their bodies remain frustratingly unresponsive or unreliable. After ensuring major health issues are managed, I often pose a deceptively simple question. Tell me, how are you breathing in those moments when you're with your partner, trying to become aroused? The response is almost universal, a look of genuine puzzlement, sometimes a dismissive shrug. Breath. What could that possibly have to do with it? This moment of confusion is precisely when I introduce the breathing and grip sync technique, a method whose simplicity belies its remarkable potency in calming the nervous system and enhancing blood flow. To illustrate, let me share Frank's story. Frank was 72, a retired firefighter whose physical strength was still evident, but whose spirit was dimmed by sexual struggle. His words struck a chord. "Doc, it's like my whole body locks up tight when I try. I'm trying so damn hard, concentrating, willing it to happen, and the harder I try, the more everything just shuts down. It feels like a vice." Frank's self-diagnosis was painfully accurate. His intense focus had morphed into performance anxiety, triggering his body's fight-or-flight response. His mind raced with worried thoughts. Will it work this time? What if I fail again? His muscles, especially in his jaw, shoulders, and critically, his pelvic floor, tensed involuntarily, and his breathing became shallow, rapid, confined to his upper chest. This state of high alert is kryptonite to erections. Why? Because the fight-or-flight response, sympathetic nervous system dominance, actively inhibits the mechanisms needed for arousal. It constricts blood vessels, vasoconstriction, diverting blood away from non-essential functions like digestion and, crucially, genital engorgement, towards muscles needed for running or fighting. It tenses muscles, including those in the pelvic floor that need to relax to allow blood inflow into the penis. Shallow breathing further exacerbates this by limiting oxygen intake and maintaining a state of physiological stress. Frank was, quite literally, trying to force a process that requires profound relaxation and parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest, activation. The breathing and grip sync technique directly counters this destructive cycle. It's a practice in mindful synchronization designed to calm the mind, relax the body, and consciously direct blood flow. Here's the precise protocol. Find a comfortable position, sitting or lying down. Begin by focusing solely on your breath. Inhale gently and smoothly through your nose, aiming for a count of approximately 4 seconds. Feel the breath filling your belly, allowing it to expand, rather than just your chest. This deep diaphragmatic breathing is key. It stimulates the vagus nerve, the main conduit of the parasympathetic nervous system, signaling safety and relaxation to your entire body. Now, exhale slowly and completely through your mouth, ideally for about 6 seconds. The longer exhale further enhances the relaxation response. As you exhale, consciously release any tension you detect, particularly in your jaw, shoulders, and pelvic area. Repeat this rhythmic breathing cycle, 4-second nasal inhale, 6-second oral exhale, for several breaths, allowing your body and mind to begin settling. Now, introduce the physical components. As you continue this calm, rhythmic breathing, very lightly engage your pelvic floor muscles. Imagine gently stopping the flow of urine midstream, but using only about 20 to 30% of your maximum strength. It should be a subtle lift and squeeze inward and upward, not a forceful clench. Hold this gentle contraction for the duration of your exhale. Simultaneously, place one hand comfortably but firmly around the base of your penis, shaft, not glands. The purpose here is not stimulation for pleasure or erection. It's about creating a point of connection, a tactile anchor. Apply a steady, gentle, encircling pressure. Think of it as a grounding touch, a way to bring conscious awareness directly to the area. The synchronization is crucial. As you inhale, for seconds, simply hold the gentle grip and maintain awareness, but don't contract the pelvic floor. As you begin your exhale, 6 seconds, simultaneously. 1. Engage the gentle pelvic floor contraction, the squeeze and lift. 2. Maintain the steady, gentle pressure with your grip hand. 3. Focus on releasing tension throughout your body with the exhale. This coordinated action, breath, pelvic floor engagement, grounding grip, does something remarkable. It powerfully reconnects your conscious mind with the often subconscious processes governing your pelvic region and sexual response. It forces you out of your racing thoughts and into your body. The deep breathing actively dampens stress hormones and promotes vasodilation, widening of blood vessels. The gentle pelvic floor contraction, synchronized with the exhale and relaxation, strengthens the muscle group crucial for maintaining erection rigidity once blood flows in, while the rhythmic engagement also pumps blood through the area. The grip provides sensory feedback, enhancing proprioception, awareness of body position and sensation, in the genital region, further countering stimulation blindness. Frank embraced this method with the discipline of his firefighting training. Within days, he reported a noticeable shift. "It's like I finally stopped wrestling with myself," he said, relief evident in his voice. That constant pressure, that internal battle, it just eased off. And when I stopped fighting, stopped forcing it, Doc, everything started flowing again. The hardness, the staying power, it came back, not because I wrestled it into submission, but because I got out of my own way and let it happen. Frank's experience captures the essence. This technique isn't about forcing an erection through sheer willpower. It's about creating the optimal internal environment, calm, oxygenated, and focused, where arousal can build naturally, blood can flow unimpeded, and confidence can organically re-emerge. It's about shifting from striving to allowing, from tension to trust in your body's capabilities. When your mind and body operate in harmony, the stage is perfectly set for the final, often dramatically potent technique. This leads us to Technique 3, the secret tapping point, perineal pressure point activation. Among the 3 techniques, this one consistently elicits the most initial skepticism, often accompanied by raised eyebrows, when I first describe it to patients. Its simplicity and the specific location seem almost too basic, too unrelated, to have any significant impact. Yet, without fail, once men overcome their hesitation and actually try it, the results frequently evoke expressions of astonishment and a recurring question: why on earth didn't anyone tell me about this years ago? Frankly, I ask myself the same question, as its effectiveness, particularly for men over 60 battling stimulation blindness and sluggish response, is frequently profound and surprisingly rapid. This is the secret tapping point method, a focused activation technique targeting a precise anatomical location. The central area of the perineum, specifically the point midway between the posterior base of the scrotum and the anus. While it might feel unfamiliar or slightly awkward initially, this spot holds significant physiological importance. It directly overlies the perineal body, central tendon, a crucial fibrous intersection where multiple pelvic floor muscles converge and anchor. More importantly, this region is densely packed with sensory nerve endings, primarily branches of the pudendal nerve, the major nerve responsible for sensation in the external genitalia and perineum, and crucially, for carrying the neural signals that initiate and maintain erections. Furthermore, deep pressure in this area can stimulate the prostate gland indirectly. When stimulated correctly, this point acts like a direct line to the sacral spinal cord segments, S2, S4, the nerve center controlling erection reflexes. Gentle stimulation sends a volley of sensory signals along the pudendal nerve pathway, effectively pinging the erection centers in the spinal cord and brain. This can trigger a reflexive response, prompting increased blood flow to the penis, heightened sensitivity in the genital area, and a noticeable surge in sexual energy or awareness. For men experiencing stimulation blindness, this targeted stimulation serves as a powerful reset button, bypassing higher cognitive blocks and directly activating the autonomic pathways responsible for genital response. It's a way to remind the nervous system, quite directly, of its arousal potential. The method itself is straightforward and discreet. Using the pad of 1 or 2 fingers, index and middle finger work well. Locate the central point of your perineum. Apply gentle but firm rhythmic pressure or a light tapping motion directly onto this spot. The pressure should be significant enough to feel a definite sensation, perhaps a slight dull ache or pressure deep within, but never sharp, stabbing, or painful. The rhythm should be steady and deliberate, perhaps 1 tap or press per second. Continue this for approximately 30 to 60 seconds. Crucially, maintain the slow, deep diaphragmatic breathing pattern described in Technique 2 throughout this process. Inhale slowly through your nose, exhale slowly through your mouth. Focus your awareness entirely on the sensation at the point of contact and any subtle shifts you might feel radiating through your pelvis or genitals. Warmth, tingling, a faint pulsing, a sense of increased fullness, or simply a heightened awareness of the area. You are not aiming for immediate orgasm or even a full erection necessarily during the tapping itself, though this can sometimes occur. The goal is neurological and vascular activation, sending a clear wake-up call to the systems governing your sexual response. Many men describe a distinct sensation within a minute or two, a sudden spreading warmth through the pelvis, a distinct tingling or aliveness in the genitals, or a noticeable firmness beginning at the base of the penis. This is the body signaling, I recognize this. I remember what to do. The pathways are open. Carl's story perfectly illustrates this. A vibrant 74-year-old who stayed active through gardening and light hiking, Carl was deeply frustrated. "The desire is there, Doc, no question," he insisted. "I feel the spark, the want. But getting things initiated, getting the engine to turn over reliably, that's where I stall out. I feel like I get halfway there and just can't finish the process." He embodied the classic experience of stimulation blindness combined with perhaps some performance-related tension. Introducing him to the tapping point technique felt like offering him a missing tool. Skeptical but open-minded, he tried it. His feedback during the next visit was illuminating. "Okay, I'll admit, I thought it was a bit strange at first. But I did it like you said, focusing, breathing. And you know what? After maybe 40 seconds, I felt this click. Not a sound, but a sensation deep inside, like something just connected. Then this warmth spread down there, and things definitely started responding. Not immediately rock hard, but a definite, clear shift, a readiness that wasn't there before." He paused, a genuine smile spreading across his face. "It was almost like someone flipped a switch inside me that had been turned off for years. It gave me back that feeling of control, of knowing I could actually start the process." Carl's switch metaphor resonates with many. This precise activation, when applied correctly at the right moment, ideally after the pelvic activation massage and integrated with the calm state fostered by the breathing/grip sync, can act as the catalyst, the final trigger that bridges the gap between intention and reliable physiological response. It bypasses the fog of stimulation blindness and directly engages the primal reflexes. However, understanding these techniques, even experiencing initial success with one or two, is fundamentally different from integrating them into your life for lasting transformation. Knowledge without consistent application remains merely potential. To truly overcome stimulation blindness and reclaim consistent erectile vitality, you need more than isolated tools. You need a structured, sustainable plan. This is not about complexity but about commitment to a simple routine. The power lies in repetition, in making these practices habitual, allowing your nervous system and physiology to relearn and strengthen these pathways over time. This brings us to the essential blueprint for success, your personal action plan, step by step. I recall Harold vividly. At 69, he entered my office not with anger, but with a quiet, profound resignation. He was withdrawn, his eyes holding a deep skepticism, almost a disbelief that anything could truly help him after years of disappointment. He recited the familiar history, a rotating cast of ED pills offering diminishing returns and side effects he disliked, an array of supplements draining his wallet without noticeable benefit, and devices he found cumbersome and unappealing. Nothing had delivered lasting improvement. Nothing had addressed the core disconnect and dwindling confidence. What ultimately shifted the trajectory for Harold wasn't a new wonder drug or gadget. It was the consistent application of a simple daily and pre-intimacy routine. It was the cumulative effect of small, regular actions that gradually rebuilt the connection between his mind, his body, and his sense of masculine self. This is the same practical, step-by-step plan I offer to you now. It integrates the 3 techniques into a cohesive, manageable framework designed for real life. 1. Daily foundation, morning or evening, 1 to 2 minutes. This is about building baseline awareness and pelvic floor tone. Upon waking or before bed, take just 60 to 120 seconds. Sit comfortably. Begin with 3 to 5 slow, deep diaphragmatic breaths. For second inhale through nose, 6-second exhale through mouth, centering yourself and releasing tension. Then, gently contract your pelvic floor muscles, the squeeze and lift, as if stopping urine flow, for 3 to 5 seconds, then fully relax for 3 to 5 seconds. Repeat this contraction-relaxation cycle 10 to 15 times. Focus on the quality of the contraction, gentle lift and squeeze inward/upward, and the completeness of the relaxation. This daily micro-practice strengthens the crucial pelvic floor muscles over time, enhances mind-body connection to that area, and subtly combats the nerve desensitization contributing to stimulation blindness. Consistency here is more important than duration. 2. Pre-intimacy preparation sequence. 5 to 10 minutes before this is the core activation phase, combining the 3 techniques sequentially to prepare mind and body. Ideally, find a private space shortly before being intimate with your partner. Step 2A. Pelvic Activation Massage. 2 to 3 minutes as described. Gently massage inner thighs, lower abdomen, and perineum with slow, firm circles. Breathe deeply. Focus on awakening sensation and blood flow. Step 2B. Breathing and grip sync. 2 to 3 minutes transition into the rhythmic breathing, 4 inches, 6 out. Introduce the gentle pelvic floor contraction only on the exhales. Apply the steady, non-stimulatory grip around the base of the penis, synchronizing it with the exhale and pelvic contraction. Focus on calm, presence, and internal awareness. Step 2C. Secret tapping point. 30 to 60 seconds. Conclude with the rhythmic pressure or tapping on the central perineum point. Maintain deep, slow breathing. Focus on any sensations of warmth, tingling, or increased awareness/aliveness in the pelvic region. 3. Consistency and patience. The lifelong key. This is the non-negotiable element. Approach this not as a one-time fix, but as an ongoing practice, a new way of preparing your body for intimacy, much like stretching before exercise. Commit to the daily foundation practice consistently. Faithfully apply the pre-intimacy sequence every time you anticipate sexual activity. Don't get discouraged if results aren't instantaneous or perfectly consistent initially. Your body is relearning and adapting. The nervous system needs repetition to solidify new pathways. Be patient and kind to yourself. Focus on the process, the reconnection, the awareness, the calm, rather than solely on the outcome, the erection, every single time. Trust that by consistently creating the optimal internal conditions, relaxation, blood flow, nerve activation, the physiological response will follow and strengthen over time. Keep it light. Approach it with curiosity rather than pressure. Harold, the initially resigned skeptic, committed to this simple plan. He didn't expect miracles overnight, but he persisted. Roughly 3 weeks later, he walked into my office, sat down, and simply smiled, a warm, genuine smile that reached his eyes, a smile I hadn't seen before. "It worked," he said quietly but firmly. "Not a magic trick, but it works." For the first time in more years than I care to remember, I felt like myself again in that moment. Connected, capable, and my wife. His voice softened. She noticed the difference before we even got to the bedroom. She said I seemed calmer, more confident, more there with her. That, he emphasized, that meant everything. Harold's transformation highlights the profound ripple effect of this approach. It's not merely about achieving erections. It's about reclaiming an essential facet of your identity, your confidence, and your intimate connection. It's about feeling whole and vital within your own skin. Before we conclude, there's a fundamental message that transcends technique and physiology, a truth I feel compelled to impart because I've witnessed its power to heal deeper wounds, what every man over 60 deserves to hear. If my 30-plus years of dedicated practice, of sitting across from thousands of men navigating the complexities of aging and sexuality, has crystallized one unwavering conviction, it is this: you are not broken. The challenges you face in the bedroom are not a verdict declaring you past your prime, a failure, or somehow less of a man. Aging is not synonymous with surrender, with the relinquishment of pleasure, intimacy, or vitality. It represents an evolution, an invitation to adapt, to deepen your understanding of yourself, and to learn new, more resonant ways of caring for the remarkable vessel that carries you through life. The techniques and understandings shared here aren't abstract theories plucked from journals. They are the distilled essence of real clinical practice, tangible tools I've personally taught and witnessed transform lives within the walls of my clinic. They are rooted in the tangible successes, the relieved sighs, the reclaimed confidence, and the revitalized relationships of men who walked a path similar to yours. And their efficacy stems not just from biology, but from something far more profound: dignity. The inherent dignity that belongs to every man, regardless of age, affirming his right to feel strength coursing through his body, to experience deep connection with his partner, and to possess unwavering confidence in his own presence and capacity for pleasure. We began by confronting the hidden adversary many men endure in silence: stimulation blindness, that insidious fading of response, the growing chasm between the fire of desire and the frustrating lack of physical echo. But now you understand this isn't an inevitable, irreversible sentence written by time. It is not the final chapter of your sexual story. It is, fundamentally, a communication from your body, a request for a different approach, a more attentive and intentional dialogue. And in response, I've equipped you with 3 powerful, practical languages for that dialogue. 1. The Pelvic Activation Massage, your tool to awaken sluggish circulation, rekindle dulled nerve sensations, and physically reconnect with the landscape of your arousal. 2. The Breathing and Grip Sync Method, your key to calming the storm of anxiety and overthinking, synchronizing mind and body, harnessing your breath to master your nervous system, and creating the internal peace where arousal flourishes. 3. The Secret Tapping Point, your precise activator, the targeted touch that speaks directly to your deepest sexual reflexes, bypassing blocks and signaling readiness to your core physiology. These are not gimmicks or fleeting tricks promising impossible miracles. They are practical, science-informed tools. When wielded consistently, patiently, and with self-compassion, they possess the power to rewire your experience from the inside out. I've seen these tools breathe life back into relationships grown distant, rekindle passions thought extinguished, and most crucially, restore to men that fundamental sense of self, the feeling of being grounded, capable, and authentically masculine. Conversely, I've also witnessed the devastating cost of giving up, of men succumbing to the corrosive lie that it's too late, that their chance for fulfilling intimacy has irrevocably passed. That surrender, that resignation, is a profound loss that resonates deeply because the truth offers such a powerful counterpoint. So much remains vibrantly possible for you. This journey towards reclaiming intimacy and confidence transcends mere biology. It's intrinsically linked to your identity, your sense of worth, how you inhabit your own skin. It influences how you gaze at your partner, not with anxiety or apology, but with presence and desire. It shapes how you carry yourself through the world, not diminished, but with quiet assurance. It determines how you enter a room, knowing you haven't abandoned the pursuit of your own vitality and joy. If no one has affirmed this for you recently, allow me to state it with absolute clarity. You matter. Your desires, your capacity for pleasure, your need for connection, your right to feel vibrantly alive. These are not privileges revoked by age. They are intrinsic aspects of your humanity. You remain fully capable of experiencing profound joy, deep emotional and physical connection, fulfilling intimacy, and enduring love. Not as abstract concepts, but as tangible, felt realities in your body and your relationships. The path forward simply requires meeting your body where it is right now, with honesty and acceptance, and then gently, patiently guiding it back towards the vitality it inherently remembers and yearns for. Therefore, take this knowledge, this practical plan, and commit to action. Not at some vague, distant, someday, when circumstances feel perfect or motivation magically appears. Begin now. Today. This very moment. Seize the opportunity presented by this understanding. Even the smallest, most tentative step, performing the pelvic massage just once, practicing the breathing technique for a single minute, trying the tapping point with an open mind, sets a crucial process in motion. These initial actions begin to shift the internal tide, disrupt old patterns of neglect or frustration, and signal to your body and mind that change is underway. You have spent decades, perhaps a lifetime, prioritizing others, providing, sacrificing, ensuring survival and security for those you love. That dedication is commendable, a testament to your character. But now, at this chapter, it is not only permissible but essential to turn that care inward. It is your time. Time to consciously, deliberately reclaim what the passage of years may have subtly eroded. Time to move forward not burdened by fear or resignation, but empowered by knowledge, equipped with practical tools, and fueled by the quiet strength that comes from taking ownership of your well-being. Believe this, deeply. You've still got it. The essence, the vitality, the capacity for profound connection and pleasure resides within you still. And with the right approach, the right understanding, and consistent, compassionate effort, your best, most confident, and most fulfilling intimate experiences may very well lie ahead, waiting to be embraced. The journey starts with the decision to begin, right here, right now.